Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This store is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Get signed up for their email distribution list to find out when the store will be opening, what their hours will be, and most importantly, what they will have in inventory at abvbarrelshop.com. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebartogo.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss bourbon hunting in Alaska. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Luke Otero, Jim Fosnot, and Ryan Thompson.
Hey, gang, what's up?
How we doing? Hey,
what's up, buddy?
Hey, so yeah, I recently got to go to Alaska. My sister has lived there for about 25 years. And it actually had been a while since I had been there and really have gotten into bourbon so much more since the last time I was there. And so this time I knew that the focus was going to be going on to some of the stores around town, see what was going on. And as we get into this, I'll tell you too, my brother-in-law owns a small liquor store. So we'll talk about those adventures and what we found out there and all that kind of stuff. We'll get to that after the break though. For right now, McNew said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, McNew?
Okay, so I just wanted to get your guys' opinions. Are like Western themed shows having a moment, or did I just reach a certain age where I think they're interesting now? So like I grew up, my parents watched them. I was like, this is boring. Why are we watching this? But I loved 1883. Fantastic. Okay. It was like the prequel to Yellowstone. And now I'm into like this Billy the Kid show. I think it's on Paramount too. They're both great. So are they just having a moment where they're cool, or did I just like hit that age where I'm like, yes, Westerns are what we're watching?
I think when you were younger, maybe I can maybe throw in myself when I was younger and our parents liked the old Western movies. They were a little boring, but now with technology and the new cameras and everything, and they have certainly made a resurgence here in the last couple of years. And I think it's all due to Yellowstone and Kevin Costner and what he's done there.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think anytime someone's successful, people try and jump on the bandwagon. I think there was nothing else before Yellowstone for years. That was such a big hit coming out of the gate that people are jumping on board and producing other ones. And you'll get some good ones and bad ones, but it's like nothing else. It'll cycle through. You'll have, this kind of genres popular for a few years, and then the next hit will start the next one.
Yeah. I think it's a cool thing. My dad was really big into Westerns. He was a Western guy. And that's what he liked. And they have that Western channel, that was his only request on anything. My mom would switch providers or whatever, and they had to have the Western channel because that's what he liked to watch. Because he and his dad used to watch these old cowboy movies, and I'd watch them. And they just looked so corny to me. They were terrible, actually. But that's what he liked to do. So and like Jim said, I think it was really just about died off, and now it's kind of coming back. And yeah, I think it's a good thing. So yeah, I'm glad to see it coming back around. And it sounds like there's some quality programming that is out there, which is a cool thing. And yeah, as long as people are enjoying it, they'll keep doing it, and until they saturate it, and then people will be on to something else. But it's good. It's good to see it come back around the cycle.
What is the Billy the Kid one called? Is it called Billy the Kid, or is it something else?
Yeah, it's just called Billy the Kid. I'm pretty sure it's on Paramount.
Yes, it is. I can tell you this because I believe I'm the senior statesman again tonight. But we grew up watching Gunsmoke, High Chaparral, Bonanza, all those, and they were corny. But I can tell you, when the New Mexico Film Commission started doing some things here in New Mexico, it started to drive a lot of productions of different types of Westerns and all sorts of things as far as film production. And Billy the Kid is let's go back to Yellowstone. That probably kickstarted a lot.
Mhm.
And is it a moment, Stephanie? Yeah, it is, because I think Jim's right. It's all in a cyclical type of deal.
Yeah.
And they're riding a very good wave right now. Lucas he called us up the other night. He says, Dad, I don't know if you've watched this, but Billy the Kid is a really good show. And so we're going to watch it. I mean, we have a little bit of history with that because my great grandfather was with Billy the Kid having some whiskey the night he was shot.
Wow,
Oh, that's a cool story.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he lived to be 104 years old, and the University of New Mexico actually archived his interview, and it was verified and validated, and so we're pretty proud of that. And it's mentioned in a couple of history books about Billy the Kid. So it's interesting to see at the end if they're going to bring that into play. So,
it's been a really good series, and I get excited to watch it. I'm like, do I like Westerns now?
However, I do enjoy catching a good old classic Western every now and again, So there's something to those. I like them, but I certainly like the new programming as well. I didn't know about Billy the Kid. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, it's really good. My dad was like a Lonesome Dove guy, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a whole Saturday. That is all we're doing today. These little episodic things I am into. They've been good.
There you go. All right. Well, that took a turn I didn't think it would. Luke's got a pretty cool connection there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Sometimes when you just get to talking, you never know what you're going to find out. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guess what, gang? It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with McNew. McNew, what do you got?
All right, I have a Starlight pick from the Indiana Bourbon Club. And look at this dip job. That was me. That's fantastic.
I like the color.
The purple was good. I don't think the pop did much, but
Pop was okay. It was okay. It could be enough. We'll see. All right, Ryan, you're next.
Well, I'm happy to say I'm drinking a little. You guys probably recognize that.
Yeah, Leatherwood. Yeah,
Leatherwood tonight. So
you got that down in Florida, I assume.
Well, actually, no. They're kind enough to ship me a bottle out here, and we ship them a bottle. And there might be a little something in the works going on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see.
Nice. Okay. I think McNew still got the lead.
That's good for me. That's
good.
It's terrible, but it's actually good for me.
Okay. All right, Luke, you're next.
I've really been anxious to do this because after your podcast, Steve, and I think you interviewed the Green River guys.
Oh God, is that what you're doing? Okay, all right. We'll have a Green River pop off. We'll see who does better here. You can go first. That's what I was going to do. Yeah. Okay.
So, but I was in Kentucky,
and I haven't tried it yet. So you haven't tasted it yet?
Yeah, but everyone I've talked to has tried it. Has loved this because they changed their whole thing, what they're doing out there.
Right.
So it is a brand new bottle. I would give Heidi some competition this evening, but here we go.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay. Nothing really. So McNew's got the lead. I'll see if I can do better. Same thing. And the other point to make out. First of all, it's a beautiful bottle. I love the horseshoe on the bottom.
Yeah.
And but the price of $34.99. I mean, come on, that's unbelievable. So new product. So here we go. Cork pop. No, they're not. They're gonna have to work on the cork pops. That's the only thing we got to go against me yet. So you and I we'll weigh in on this after we do the cheers.
Steve, yours squeaked and popped though.
It did. So. McNew's was still better though. So McNew's is the lead. And Jim, you're next.
So I've got this bottle that Heidi just handed me. It's Leopold Brothers 3-chamber rye.
That's stolen.
I'm gonna do some Lisa Claire 4 grade. Claire 4 grade.
No, I think McNew got it. McNew,
way to go!
Kind of a sad one. McNew got it. So yeah,
it wasn't great on my behalf.
Cheers, gang.
That's pretty good, Steve.
That Green River is good. Yeah. That's that one might get you in trouble. That goes down pretty easy, doesn't it, Luke?
Certainly does.
Is it a porch bourbon?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Yeah,
it's a one-nighter. We call them one-nighters. It's gone up.
yeah, good stuff. So yeah, congratulations to the team out there at Green River, and excited to see what the future holds. I know they got a bunch of other stuff planned, so should be fun. All right, what we'll do next, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about bourbon hunting in Alaska. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot in the greater St. Louis area. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only focuses on single barrels. We aren't open just yet, but our plan is to have the most diverse single barrel offerings from our many friends in the world of bourbon. By signing up for a weekly email, you will know our entire inventory we have on hand. In addition to single barrels, we'll have a tasting bar and a gift shop featuring logo merchandise for both the shop and the ABV network, as well as a full curriculum of bourbon education classes. Additionally, we'll use the gift shop to feature products from our partners in the world of bourbon, companies like Art Eatable Chocolates and Old Man Bay Signs. Head over to ABV Barrel Shop to sign up for our email and text distribution list so you can stay in the know. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Hello, this is Jeff from Iowa, and you're listening to The Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about bourbon hunting in Alaska.
Yes, we are. So I got to say that going out to Alaska, I had no idea what to expect, but I figured bourbon is so hot everywhere that there's really nothing left in terms of opportunity to find cool things. And then I go out there and I don't know, there was some cool stuff on the shelves. I felt like I was limited to what I could carry back and my budget, of course. I went to one place, there was 4 bottles of Little Book from this past year. I'd like to have all 4 of those bottles of Little Book, but I didn't want to deal with shipping them back. And, and it was $125, which is the regular price. I mean, it wasn't like it was premium price or anything, but yeah. So that was fun to find. And then, we had some adventures. Got some Colonel E.H. Taylors. You don't really see that on the shelves anymore, small batch. And then, famously, the best story was I found a single barrel, Colonel E.H. Taylor single barrel. And I haven't had one of those. I bet you in 5 years seen one of those on the shelf. And so I get it. And I grab, it's behind the counter. So I asked the guy, could I see it? And he scans it and it's not in the system. And he asked me to step aside because there's other customers in there. And he rings all them out. And then there's more people. This is like a gas station. There's more people coming in. And, the line just never seems to die down. So I'm just standing there for like 20 minutes. And then finally, there's no customers in there. So I jumped back in and said, how much is the bottle? So he scans it again, like it's going to make a difference. And he's like, it's not in here. And the guy's wearing a shirt, by the way, and he seemed like he might have been maybe drinking a little bit, but his shirt said, "I'm not drunk. I always walk this way." And so so he's like, "Buddy, what will you give me for this?" And I said, $50. And he says, "Make it cash and it's a deal."
And then you don't ask any more questions.
And the funny thing was, I got my brother-in-law with me who lives up there. And I tell you what, the guy says $50, and my brother-in-law was at the back of the store. I was at the register. He starts running up and reaching into his pocket, and I had to quickly pull out of my pocket in one fell swoop and slap the 50 on the counter. And then the guy slid the bottle to me and that was mine. But my brother-in-law was ready to swoop in and get that from me. So, yeah. Yeah, so
what was that liquor store there, Steve?
It's worth going to. There were several. We ended up finding more each tailor after that, and it was good. And I was surprised. And my brother-in-law, like I said, he owns just a small liquor store. He owns, when they call it living out in the bush. So they've got, cities like Fairbanks, and then they've got areas that don't really have anything. And outside of Fairbanks, there's an area where they have this small general store, and there's nothing out there. Most of the houses don't have plumbing or electricity. I mean, it's really kind of roughing it. So this place that he's got carries everything, whether it's stuff for cars or houses or you name it. It's got food and including prepared meals and stuff like that, and shower, laundromat, gas station. So he does have a liquor store in there too, but it's pretty small. But I was surprised he had some good stuff on the shelves. He had he had bookers and bakers and a lot of different things, but he wasn't into bourbon enough to know what to ask for. So I've got him set up. Matter of fact, he just texted me as we were getting ready to start the show. He was real pleased. He said, here's the items that I got this week. So
nice.
And this doesn't help you listening, but so what he got was a Colonel H. Taylor small batch, Sazerac rye, Eagle Rare, and Weller Special Reserve. So now he knows what to ask for, because I made a list for him of ask every time if these are in, and now he's getting this stuff. And the great thing is it sells out the day it gets put out. So this is like a whole new world for him. He's loving life. So yeah, it's really, really cool and fun. And it was a good time. It was definitely a good time.
Well, I got it. Yeah, it seems like it's changed. I was there in Alaska in 2011, and we were there for 3 days. And a couple of us went bourbon hunting, and it was very, very small selection. You can get any kind of makers you wanted. Jim Beam, right. You just go down the list. But as far as some of the more popular ones like E.H. Taylor, Blanton's, no dice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting because, and this is Fairbanks, not Anchorage. So Anchorage is a much bigger city, and maybe that's the case there. But in Fairbanks, it's definitely a little bit. And talking to him, I'm like, what's popular for whiskey? And it was all either scotches or Irish whiskeys for the most, because he didn't even actually know the difference between what was what. He's like Jameson's big and all these these other ones. I'm like, well, those aren't bourbon. So it doesn't seem like bourbon's kind of caught on here.
Who's their distributor? Who does their distribution up there? Same big guys we have down here?
Yeah, Southern Glaciers was one of them, but then the other ones were more Alaska only. I didn't recognize them by name.
Yeah. Okay.
But the Southern Glaciers, they're huge, and they're definitely up there. So,
are there any big box liquor stores up there? Or is it all just kind of that general store kind of feel?
Mostly the general stores. There was one up there called the Brown Jug. That would be their big liquor store, and that one could have been dumped into any of the towns that we're in, and it would look like a normal liquor store. And that one was good too. I got a Cream of Kentucky there, a bottled and bond Cream of Kentucky. Have you guys seen that? I haven't seen the bottled and bond one, so I grabbed that because I didn't even know that was a thing. So I picked that up. So that was interesting. So. But yeah, and the Brown Jug would be the only one of really any size. The rest were either small or, they have to have a separate entrance. It's one of those things where it can be at a gas station or a grocery store, but it has to have a separate entrance. So it's kind of has its own separate.
And it's a fortune there for a liquor license. They're crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
I would say it's like $10,000 or $15,000 for a liquor license there or something.
Yeah. And like they only have a certain number of them. So if you don't have one, you got to wait for one to open up. It's a weird thing. I don't know.
Was there
distilleries
up there? Sorry.
What was that?
I said, are there any distilleries up there making bourbon?
Yes. So I went to one of them. I'm embarrassed that I forget the name right now. But the distilleries are a thing up there too. So there were several in the area. So he's in Fairbanks, and I want to say there's probably. And then we went to around there, the North Pole, which is a city up there.
Yeah.
We went to several there, and we probably saw 4 or 5 distilleries, within a 30-minute range of where they live. So that's pretty many. I did buy a bottle of a really unique one. I went to the distillery that I went to and went inside. They had a barrel made by like a local craft artisan guy, but he made it out of birch, there's birch trees all over up there in this area. And so he made a barrel out of birch, and the whiskey was interesting. It was pretty young though. It was, I felt like it could have, if it would have been in that barrel for more time, it might've been even better, but it was good. You could tell it's kind of on the right path, but he said it was a miserable experience because the birch wood is so hard that thing leaked all the time. They could never get it where it stopped leaking. It was leaking the whole time.
Did they char it, Steve?
Yeah, they did that, but then it's still, they tar it and springs the leak somewhere else. And it was a battle. So they decided, and he didn't make it sound like he was interested in doing that again. Cause I thought it's just interesting because it's so Alaska and it's so different.
Imagine what it takes to get those stills up to temperature there. When even in the summertime, you're pulling water and it's got to be freezing cold, but you're distilling up there in January. How the hell do you keep things at temperature?
Yeah, it just sounds like more work than distilling already is. It sounds awful.
Yeah. So, and of course, there's a big swing in Alaska too, depending on where you're at. If you're in Anchorage, it's not that bad. It's not what like most people think of Alaska, but when you're in Fairbanks, -40 is the winter temperature. I mean, my nephews, the rule for their grade school, which always cracked me up, my sister would tell me, if it's -25 or warmer, it's outdoor recess. It's only when it's -26 or colder that it's inside.
In Indiana,
that's how it is.
Too cold.
Yeah. Yeah, if it got down to -5 here in St. Louis, which we haven't had any temperature like that in years and years, but if we did, I would assume that at this point the schools would just call off and be too cold.
Yeah,
half the pipes would be frozen.
Yeah. So. We get canceled for stuff like that. Not even when it's that bad.
Right. Yeah, -25. It's like, kids, get outside. You're good. You're good. Get out there and have fun.
How were the rest of the prices? Was there much of a markup on anything else, or?
Yeah,
no, that's the good thing about it. There's not really that culture up there of taking a whiskey and putting some crazy price on it. So
just from the distribution perspective of the effort to get it up there with
you would think
shipping wise, right? Yeah.
So the one that my brother-in-law told me about, and then he just thought it was ridiculous, was the Brown Jug. They had a complete set of Blanton, so 8 bottles, all the letters, and they sold that as a set for I think $1,200 or something like that. And he thought that's ridiculous. That's a premium. He sells it for like $70, I think, is what he sells his Blantons for. And he thought it was ridiculous that it would be that high price. And I was like, I showed him on the internet. Here's a set. It's $3,900 if you'd like to get one for yourself. I'm like.
You can sell that all day long here for $1,200.
Oh yeah, you put a line of people. It wouldn't last.
Yeah, you'd have a line of people to buy those sets.
Yeah. You would. You could have an event around that, and there would be people lined up to buy it if you could get it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Another thing is, boy, they don't like outsiders in Alaska. So I got the look. So I walk in, I look like I'm from Alaska, right? I'm doing okay. But they have the Fairbanks Whiskey Society, and I joined it. And it's a you have to answer questions to join it, but it's like self-administrated. But I guess
what were some of the questions?
Well, it's just like, do you drink whiskey and all this kind of stuff,
Is it like the Facebook group questions, like the?
Yeah. So like that type of thing. And just the general things where you be polite to others and all that. So I get in this thing and I say, hey, I'm coming up there. I'm in the bourbon world. I have a podcast. By the way, listen to ABV Network. And I'd like to come up and maybe we can go to a restaurant and talk whiskey and stuff like that. Well, the guy kicks me out. Not only does he kick me out and say that I'm not from the inner coastal Alaska, whatever they call it. I can't be in the club. My brother-in-law showed me the post that he made after that. He was apologizing that the scammer got into the group and he's kicked me out and he'll try to be more diligent. That stuff like that. I didn't do anything. I wasn't trying to scam anybody.
Was one of the questions, are you from Alaska though? Was that one of the questions?
No, but my brother-in-law showed me that they changed the rules
Oh,
Where
that you
now-
have to be from Alaska.
Now it's not even Alaska. You have to be from interior Alaska. That's what they call it. So then that's the only rule. Rule number one is you have to be from interior Alaska, and there's no other rules. So now that's it. Now they have a set of rules that's just one, and I didn't call it. But my sister is a resident of interior Alaska. I'm visiting. So, but
Steve Akeley got blackballed.
I did.
Steve is not welcome in Alaska Whiskey
And
Society.
here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. So my brother-in-law pulls this up to show me that thing, and then they've got this thing where they're all talking about. They got a photo of Jackie Zykan. They're talking about how cool she is, and you know, she's awesome, and she's great. And I had laughed to myself. I told my sister, I said, you know what? If I had gone out with these guys and we would have gone to the bar and had a drink, we would have called Jackie Zykan on the phone and they could have talked to her. You know, this is the kind of stuff they missed out on.
Yeah, totally.
You know, all I wanted to do was talk whiskey with whiskey people, just see what the differences were in Alaska versus here. And they thought I'm a scammer. So yeah.
Maybe I'll try and sneak my way in, and I'll put a picture up first post of you with Jackie Zykan. This is who you kicked out of your group.
Yeah. Here's the guy that you kicked out of your group. So yeah.
It's their loss. Their loss.
Yeah. So my brother-in-law's there, but he doesn't like to post because he owns that liquor store. He just likes to watch what they're talking about, what the trends are and all that. And he says he loves it because he says he knows some of the people that are in there and they come in his store and he recognizes them from Facebook, but they don't talk about it on there. And he feels like that's a good thing. It means that he's basically got a honey hole that they come in there and buy their Blantons and all, because he sells all that stuff just for retail and he just puts it out on the shelf. So yeah.
It's the old secret whiskey society they have going on, huh?
Yeah.
Is he going to offer you the BTEC collection if he gets it in, any of it?
He's working on that now. He never even knew what that was before. So he and you know, I had to deal with this guy. He had all of his distributors meet with me. So he's like, here's my new buying manager. So I'm asking him about all this stuff. And they're like, well, you know, that goes through, you know, it's not through us. It's through the local person that's out of Anchorage, and they decide on who gets one. And you know, so Jeff is meeting with them and seeing if he can get any of that stuff moving ahead. But
if he gets his hands on it, will he offer it to you?
No, I don't think so. I think he's keeping it for himself. He's now fully into the bourbon thing. I mean, you know, that's been one of the cool things though, is that we have this thing in common now. So we've been texting a lot and stuff since we got back. So keeping up to date on what's going on. So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it was always a fun trip. And if you get to Alaska, check out, see what's out there. You never know. You might find something cool. So.
Yeah. It sure has changed since the last time I was there.
Yeah,
2011. So good. I'm glad
get up there.
Glad to hear that,
there, my friend. So yeah, check it out. All right. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Ryan, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Across all socials at 10th MTN Whiskey with an E. Our website is 10thwhiskey.com.
All right, Jim.
You can find me on Facebook at Jim Fosnot, on Instagram at FozJim, FAZZJIM, or working hard at the ABV Barrel Shop to get that thing open.
There you go. Luke, how about you?
You can find us on Instagram at Santa Fe Boutique Wines and SantaFeBoutiqueWines.com. Luke Otero at SantaFeBoutiqueWines.com.
Reach out. McNew, how about you? Where can people find you?
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. We put our previous shows. We've got well over 3,000 at this point. We've got our blogs out there, our e-magazine, and so much more. abvnetwork.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right. Great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Yes.
Cheers.
Adios.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's upcoming Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.